Hello, it's been a long time. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And I'm just going to throw that out there like I haven't disappeared since 2019. If you're brand new here, welcome. I am Laura. I am a nutritionist and I help women keep their dream bodies without messing up their minds. And we're diving straight in with a brand new series I like to call Shag, Marry, Avoid Diet Edition. In my 15 years of coaching, nutrition has changed a lot and there is so much information out there on the internet. So in this series, I'm going to be reviewing other people's diets to let you know which parts of them you could shag. In other words, keep for now. They might be all right to get you towards a particular goal. Which ones you should marry, aka the sound basis of a healthy, sustainable diet, and which ones you should avoid. Which ones are the red flags? I thought we'd kick this off by reviewing one of the last YouTube videos that I put up back when I was competing in bikini. I was obsessed with getting lean. I'm already dreading what nonsense I'm going to come out with. So yeah, come along with me and we'll see which of the things in my 2019 bikini prep we should shag, marry and avoid. So just got back from the gym. It's bloody cold, which is why I got a scarf on. Cold because I got naffle body fat. Now about 10 o'clock, my first meal. In case you didn't know, I'm prepping for a bikini competition, a shorter prep than I'm used to this time. I'm going to try and go for a show in around about 16 weeks. I would like it noted that I won that show. So when my calories are lower, I like to try and push my eating window back as far as I possibly can, just to make sure that I don't find myself in a situation where it's like 6 p.m. and I'm out of calories for the day. So before we even go in on this first meal of the day, it's 10 a.m. I've done a shed load of steps, I've trained and I've done cardio, and I've still not eaten. As a nutritionist that knows a bit better now, saving so many calories until later in the day very often led to me overeating. One of the biggest problems I faced was actually I kept that going even after I'd stopped dieting. So it was almost like I had to wait until I was starving every single day before I ate a meal. What that very often led to is uncontrollable eating when I did finally have a meal because I was so bloody ravenous. I mean, I'm only on 1400 to 1500 calories, so I have to be respectful of context that this is different now, right? This was an aggressive diet to lose body fat for stage. There is nothing wrong with that calorie amount. It wasn't too low. It was appropriate for my goals at the time. But let's see what I'm having. First, this morning, we're going to go for some Greek yogurt, fat-free, really good source of protein, no carbs, no fats, berries, and bagel thin. I will show you how I assemble this. By the way, in case you're wondering, these are frozen. And the reason for that is that when I diet and get really hungry and I get greedy, I have a tendency to just grab things and shove them in my mouth. So by freezing these, I can't do that. I have to actually toast them. Yeah, case in point. I couldn't even be trusted around bagel fins without eating them. Now, genuinely, these sorts of foods can sit in my cupboard for ages and I won't touch them. But for a long period of time when I was competing, they were a massive trigger food for me. Cereals, bagel thins, delicious carbs in general. So we're going to go, jolly camera work from me again, 100 grams berries in the pan. Chuck that on the hot touch of hot water. Suspicious looking tub of white powder. This is sucralose. Looking at this breakfast, it's actually not a bad breakfast. There's enough protein in there. There's some fiber and antioxidants from the berries. I probably wouldn't muck about with the white powder now. For the sake of a few calories, a little touch of honey contains more nutrients. It makes it a bit sweeter and it makes it a bit more satisfying. Using the bagel thin, a shag technique, but I would say for a marry me strategy, you want to just be able to have your shit together around foods like bagel thins and not have to live a life where you have zero self-control around food. And part of that comes from eating enough food. If I wanted to make this meal have more staying power so that I wasn't always thinking about food, let's say I wasn't dieting, I have more calories to play with, I might throw in a few nuts, or I might actually switch the fat-free Greek yogurt to a higher fat, a half fat or a full fat version, because that would bring more satisfaction, they'd be digested more slowly, and I'd probably be less likely to be thinking about food an hour later. But all in all, I'm not too horrified with myself for that one. Lunch, I've gone for the quickest, easiest thing ever. It's a case of opening packets because I'm between like working. I've got A lot to do today. 226 calories for lunch. I know why I did it at the time, because I was trying to spread out across so many meals, but honestly, that wouldn't fill a hole in my tooth now. I'd be so hungry. Do you ever look back at your old diet and just go, how? How did I do that? There's elements of it that I keep though. Things like the prepackaged salmon. I still stand by that statement. Don't like the smell of fish when it's cooking. I am a big fan of things that you can just open and chuck together. Good source of protein. Lots of omega-3 healthy fats in there. The thing that I would change now would be looking to add more fiber into that meal. Like a handful of salad is not enough fiber. I'd probably make it a bit more balanced by just adding a few carbohydrates. Something like potatoes, they're great. They're really high in fiber. They are one of the most satisfying foods that you can eat. We'd be getting more micronutrients in that meal as well. And I think I'd be more respectful of how high my activity is early in the day versus how much food I'm actually eating. I've had probably about a third of my calories, but I've done 80% of my activity that I'm due to do for the day. So I think to make this a marry me strategy, like how I do things differently now as somebody that doesn't track and can manage her weight quite well, is I am less fearful of eating more calories earlier in the day. And even if I was going to diet now, I would be less fearful of having more calories at the start of the day. I get that mentality. I was there at that time. I would think, right, what if I get hungry later? What if I overeat in the evening? I need to save some calories for later in the evening. Not realizing that the reason I was flipping overeating in the evening was because I was starving. Even when I'm dieting now, my goal is to eat less frequently, but actually switch that hunger off at the meal. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the salad and the salmon, definitely a shag meal, but I think understanding that actually if you've got a few more calories to play with, or you're in a position where you're just trying to maintain and think about food less, actually adding some carbohydrates and some more fiber into that meal will really help to switch that hunger off. Snack time for me. Nat's fuming because she's gonna die because she ate moldy bread. Don't fucking tell everyone I ate moldy bread. How did you? In 2 minutes, and she don't C-bomb on it. No, 2 minutes. Not the best use of carbs when you're dieting, but I bloody love a banana, and so does Nat. So that's interesting. My choice of phrasing, not the best use of carbs when you're dieting. So first of all, I would absolutely say that a banana before you're about to go and do some activity like training, or in my case, some steps. I think my step count at that point was about 18,000 steps per day. So we were about to go and walk for an hour, which, you know, we can call it steps, but at that point in time, that was cardio. A banana, it's a bit on the greener side, slower release of blood sugar, some fiber in there, some potassium in there. It's a really, really good pre-exercise snack. So my choice of wording there actually to myself is a little bit of a red flag. I was so obsessed with getting volume from my calories. Our bodies don't just register total calories, they also register the micronutrients that we've eaten and a variety of nutrients as well. And sometimes if you're lacking in something, you might find that might manifest itself as hunger or cravings. So the fact that I said that a banana wasn't a great use of calories, that is something you should avoid. Banana, marry me strategy. So yeah, I'm really sorry if anyone listened to that video and avoided bananas. I am absolutely starving. I'm not surprised I'm starving. I haven't bloody eaten anything. Got quite a few calories to play with later on, so I've just made this. And this is a ready meal that I picked up in town when me and Nat were out, reduced. Okay, so this is still a marry strategy. I still use ready meals quite a lot. They're not something I would avoid. There's all this nonsense about ultra processed foods. The way I see it is if you're in a bit of a pinch, you're busy after work, it's not practical for you to cook. Having a high protein, balanced ready meal stops you just opening packets of crisps or making yourself rounds of toast, then I'm here for it. The only thing I would avoid in here, which is different to what I used to do, is I was very fixated here on the total calorie count and the total amount of protein. Specifically, how many grams of protein I got for my calories. And that is still something I do now. Generally speaking, if I'm looking at a ready meal packet, I'm looking for around about 25 to 30 grams of protein, which is a good baseline for most women to have enough protein at that meal. But the thing that I actually look at now as a 38, early 39-year-old woman is the total amount of fiber. Fiber will impact metabolism, energy release, digestion, gut health. Like, I remember looking back then, I was bloated a lot of the time, had less body fat on me than I do now, but my stomach would protrude more. I think a huge part of that was that my protein intake was probably a bit too high and my fiber intake was a bit too low. So when I'm picking up ready meals and looking at the packets now, I'm also looking at how much fiber it has in it. This one had 5.6 grams, which actually isn't too bad for a ready meal. But if it was a bit on the lower side, I might look to pair that with maybe some extra green vegetables on the side. Like, I always keep an emergency bag of veg in the freezer so that if I am in ready meal mode, it's really easy to add some quick convenient fiber to the side. I am absolutely married to the strategy of ditching what's optimal in favor of convenience, but we can still be smart about that.
If you haven't seen it, these are like pizza bases. Now, when I say pizza bases, these are diet friendly pizza bases. So don't expect it to be like Domino's. I'll put all of the ingredients actually across the bottom. So I'm going to use some of this. I've just got some cooked sliced chicken. And then I'm going to use some of this, which if you haven't seen it, again, it's not like proper cheddar. Don't expect Pizza Hut. Super high protein, low fat, low carb. And just for some extra protein, going to crack an egg in the middle.
Cardboard and plastic for dinner. Yum. I feel embarrassed that my taste buds thought that that was good. They were literally like cardboard, if anyone remembers those things. And that Eat Lean cheese, guys, we have found our first avoid. Now, I'm not saying that low calorie alternatives do not have their place, but these days, honestly, I'd rather have a smaller portion of the real thing. But if they're still your vibe, that's fine. The only thing I'm quite pleased with is the egg yolk. At least I was getting some omega-3 fats in there because there was a bit of fat lacking in my day. Girls that train, it's very often fed down our neck that you need protein and you need carbs to fuel training, and very often what is missing to support hormone health and function and again boost satiety is healthy fat. So I'm glad that I had a little bit in there. But personally, I would avoid the plastic, chemically fake calories in favor of some more food that's going to give you those nutrients. Because looping back to what I said before, your body is going to recognize it's had some food in that case.
Final kind of bit of food for the day.
Oh, look, more chemicals.
So I'm going to have some more of this Greek yogurt, little low calorie jelly, and just to make the yogurt a bit sweeter, one of these peanut butter flavor drops from My Protein.
So what would I keep here? I would keep some Greek yogurt before bed. It is a good shout. It's got protein that's going to send me off to sleep and help my muscles repair after what is a very active day. Some sugar-free jelly and some flavor drops. Again, not a bad thing. Jelly can help to add volume to the yogurt before you go to bed. I've got a lot of clients that still do that now. I think in the context of the overall day, to make this a marry me strategy, I would be having one or two things that's a bit processed there. Every single meal I eat, there's some sort of plastic calories substituting getting nutrition from real food. Wolfing down tons of sugar-free jelly before bed was probably contributing a lot to some of the bloating. I see a lot of influencers, YouTubers online going, how I healed my gut, how I stopped my bloating. They're talking to you like they've got some sort of secret magic recipe, but actually what they've stopped doing is heavily restricting and living off of foods like this in favor of real food, a bit more fiber and a few more healthy fat. There you go, I've just saved you $19.99 downloading somebody's on the internet. So I think overall, if I had to rate this day, shag, marry, avoid, I would probably shag it again if I was in that place where I wanted to lose fat fast, but with a few more tweaks, a bit more whole food, more of my calories earlier in the day, and looking to include some different foods that contain healthy fats and fiber. I would avoid having my activity levels up as high as they were, even if I was going for aggressive fat loss, because it would reduce the chance of me burning out, my resistance training dipping, or me overeating. And if I wanted to take this and make it a marry me strategy, I absolutely would need to reduce my activity levels from where they were. And I certainly would need to eat a few more calories than 1400 per day. Hopefully that was useful. If it was, make sure you like and hit subscribe, because I'm going to be doing a lot more of these videos. And if any of the elements I discussed in this video you want me to dive into in a little bit more detail, simply comment below, ask away. I love questions. I'll try not to leave it 6 years before my next video.